My name is Kyler Wilson, and I'm from Boise, Idaho. I think I was 8 or 9. My mom began finding suicide notes that I had written about how my family would be better off without me. And I don't really remember that, but I know that my mom never really understood where that was coming from. I was 12 years old and, starting to go through puberty, and I had been awarded a mayor's award. It was a mayor's award of excellence. And about 3 days before the ceremony started, for the actual ceremony, I had my very first period of ever, the first time I ever had a period. And it was pretty traumatic. I wanted nothing to do with it. And so my grandma came into town. I remember very specifically we were sitting at the kitchen counter and my mom was in the kitchen and my mom said, well, why don't you tell your grandma what happened to you 2 days ago? And my heart sank. And so I told her, I started my period, and so she, was all excited, and my mom was all excited, and I just remember thinking to myself, this isn't what I want. This isn't exciting to me, and it was pretty traumatic. I just went to the mayor's ceremony, and it should have been exciting, but because of how traumatic this first period was, it just was not what I wanted it to be. In the years past, I struggled with depression off and on, but really from the ages of 17 to 22, I really struggled with depression. I was diagnosed with major depressive disorder. I was in and out of psychiatric hospitals multiple times. Had a total of 7 suicide attempts in that amount of time from the ages of 17 to 22. The final straw was I was admitted to the state psychiatric hospital for 6 months, and that was a pretty traumatic experience, but it was it was a little bit of a turning point. It was a point where they were able to medicate me to the point where I was able to get my head a little bit above water, and I could maybe see myself having a little bit of happiness in life. I would say about 4 months after I got out of the hospital, my mom threw this party at her house, and it was a work associated party. My mom's like, hey, I want to introduce you to these 2 girls that work with me. And this one specific girl, she had dark hair and blue eyes, and I just immediately I don't know what it is, I get a little bit of chills thinking about it now, is I just had a connection with her instantly. We started dating, and about a year later, so we were, girlfriend, and about a year later we went to this party where we had a few friends and ended up meeting this guy named Jace and his girlfriend at the time. Me and Jace, I don't know what it was, we just totally hit it off. We just had a fun connection, we just had a great time. And so we left the party and we're driving home, and I remember I was telling Allie, like, man, Jace was awesome. Like, I liked that guy a lot. He was a lot of fun. And I was like, yeah, you would never guess that, wow, that he was actually born female. And I in that moment I was like, wait a minute, what? No, there's no way that he was born female. Like, that's a dude. Like, you're lying to me. And she's like, no, I'm serious. He's trans. In that one moment, I went, oh, this is what I need, and this is who I'm supposed to be, and this is what I've been looking for my entire life. I'm trans. I'm not this butch lesbian. I'm transgender. So we go home, and we were sitting on the couch. We were just chatting, and I'm being real chatty like I am when I'm drunk. I told her, my girlfriend, that I want to cut my boobs off. And I think, my girlfriend, this is just her personality. She's like, well, I mean, like, right now? Because that seems like that might be kind of a bad idea. I kind of just, like, brushed it off. Like, I didn't really, like, pursue that any further. So we end the night, we go to bed, and I wake up the next day, and I'm depressed, and I'm weepy, and didn't really want to get out of bed. My girlfriend comes in, she sits down on the bed, and she goes, what's going on? Like, did you mean maybe that you didn't want to cut your boobs off, that you mean you want to have a boy sex? And maybe you don't want to be my girlfriend, but you want to be my boyfriend. I kind of just broke down crying, and I was really upset, and I was like, I think so, but I don't know. She's like, okay, well, stop crying about it and let's do something about it. Before long, we're researching, what it's like to start hormones and what all that entails and top surgery and all these things. By the time I started hormones, it was July of 2012, I started testosterone, and Jace was the person that gave me my first testosterone shot. It was just so fitting that the person that made me realize I was trans was the one that finally set me forth on that journey. Finally, in 2015, I was able to get my hysterectomy, and that was important because I never had to have a period again, ever again. I had nothing to do with that female anatomy. Was never forced to be somebody that I wasn't supposed to be. And then more importantly, in 2016, I was able to get my top surgery. And that was equally as important because for so long I had these breasts that made me appear to be somebody that I wasn't. And I could not wait to get rid of those and to finally, for once, be able to walk around the house without a shirt on and walk outside with no shirt on and be recognized as this male that I was supposed to be, and to look down at my body and go, I'm male, and to recognize not only do I look male, but it matches what internally I'm male also. So it's finally being able to piece my brain with my body, and that was so important to me. And I remember I just could not get that stupid smile off my face. I was so excited and just thrilled. Like, I just felt like I was on top of the world because it was just, there was something about that moment that I don't think I'll ever forget how I felt in that moment. Last year in August 2017, I married the woman of my dreams and we became husband and wife, and it was this beautiful wedding with all of our family and friends. I couldn't be more thrilled to have been able to marry the woman who has never once been anything but my #1 fan, and I am so blessed. I am finally the person that I was always supposed to be. I was never meant to be that shy, embarrassed, distraught girl. I was meant to be this.